The literary universe that Herman Melville built in the stormy seas of the 19th century, it is not just a whaling story, but an ontological labyrinth that delves into the depths of the human soul. In that dark world of Melville, where Gothic chaos and Baroque shadows prevail, it completely breaks down rational boundaries and introduces the reader to Spinoza's plane of immanence. Here, humans, nature, and inanimate objects are parts of the same substance. They vibrate in the fabric of the universe in a non-hierarchical way and continue their existence. Captain Ahab's deep wound. Just like a lightning bolt splitting a tree in two, it suddenly thrusts the reader into a chaotic and jarring existential questioning. Unlike the Hegelian synthesis, Melville never offers his reader an absolute solution. On the contrary, it leaves us in the irrational void of the ocean and an unsolvable nihilism. His deep intellectual friendship with Nathaniel Hawthorne, it deepens this melancholic search even further and carries it to a new dimension. Withdrawing from action and meaning like the character Bartleby, disappearing into silence, it prepares a solid ground for the birth of those melancholic figures. This literary skeleton is a shattering philosophical bomb that redefines man's place in the universe. Every soul lost among the turbulent waves of the seas echoes in this labyrinth. The author brings the reader to the edge of the abyss while searching for a truth beyond words. Shadow and light are two ancient enemies that intertwine in Melville's pen. A human is a traveler struggling not to drown in the depths of the ocean within themselves. Ahab's obsession is, in fact, the anger one feels towards their own limited existence. Spinoza's substance is embodied in the massive body of a whale in the pages of Melville. Nature is a massive wall of silence that disregards human rational efforts. Bartleby's silence is the heaviest answer given to all the noise in the world. This silence represents the purest and most frightening state of existence. Melville leaves the reader alone in the dark corridors of his own mind. On this journey, no compass or map can lead you to salvation. There is only the infinity of the ocean, and that never-ending void within a person. The literary universe looks back at us like an abyss rather than a mirror. Ahab's harpoon is, in essence, a cry of rebellion thrust into the meaninglessness of existence. However, this scream is silently swallowed in the depths of the ocean. In Melville's world, there is no victory, only a struggle for survival. This struggle is a tragic story of the human effort to transcend one's own limits. The Gothic atmosphere is a vortex that draws the reader in a little more with every page. Baroque shadows reflect the turmoil in the characters' souls down to the finest detail. The boundaries of rational thought are shattered in these stormy seas. A person realizes how small they are in the face of nature in this labyrinth. The unity of the essence is both a peace and a threat in Melville's narrative. Everything is interconnected, but these connections do not set us free. On the contrary, these bonds make us prisoners of our own existence. Just like lightning splitting a tree, the truth suddenly shatters our minds. Could this fragmentation be the beginning of a search for new meaning? Melville leaves the answer to this question to the reader's own conscience. Nihilism is not an end in his universe, but a starting point. Those long conversations with Hawthorne only fuel this darkness even more. Even friendship is not enough to alleviate this existential loneliness. On the contrary, it emphasizes it. Bartleby is the first example of the modern person who withdraws from the world. Preferring not to do something is actually the greatest resistance against existence. In Melville's pen, silence becomes a language and begins to speak. This silent language is more powerful and more intimidating than all words. The literary skeleton transcends time and shakes us even today. a philosophical bomb, exploding anew with every reading, shatters our minds. Man is afraid of encountering his own face within this labyrinth. However, this encounter holds the only true meaning of existence. Melville leaves us alone in the middle of the ocean. The only thing that remains is that rhythmic sound of the waves crashing against the shore. This sound is like a lullaby that reminds one of the meaninglessness of existence. The sailor, the whale, the writer, and the reader, they all unite in the same void. The ontological labyrinth surrounds us like a loop with no exit. Escaping this cycle is only possible by accepting our own emptiness. Melville's world is the gateway to the ocean within oneself. Melville's existential fatalism in literature finds new life in the smoky streets of the 20th century, with Pierre Melville, the director, who chose the author's name as a pseudonym during the years of resistance, combines the French New Wave with the author's nihilistic universe through his minimalist language. The silent and stoic criminals in his films are actually modern reflections of those old sailors gazing blankly at the ocean. Or they are figures who withdraw from the world, like Bartleby, who looks at the wall in the office and says, "I would prefer not to." Those perfect heist scenes, where words fall silent and tension is built with emptiness, carry that ontological wound in the author's literary language. This cold and distant atmosphere reflected on the screen draws the viewer directly into the irrational void of Melville's ocean. Even though art branches and centuries change, that deep void and search for silence within human beings remain the same. Whether you are a sailor hurling your harpoon at a whale, or that lonely and silent hitman waiting for his target, this magnificent nothingness that Melville constructed continues to scratch at our minds and confront us with our own labyrinths even today. In the director's black and white frames, that ancient silence in the depths of the ocean is trapped within the concrete walls of the modern city. The characters, as if they were ghosts, carry the weight of a great void while circling around their own destinies. This existential weight transforms into a restlessness and a deep questioning that slowly grows in the viewer's mind. Pierre Melville has been one of the rare artists who succeeded in transforming cinema into a chair of philosophy by inheriting the legacy of the author. Every shadow reflected through his lens is like a modern echo of that Baroque darkness the author describes on his pages. Beyond crime and punishment, that inevitable weight brought by mere existence covers all scenes like a cloud of fog. That blank expression on the characters' faces is actually a defense mechanism developed against the meaninglessness of the universe. Just like Ahab's obsession, the director's protagonists choose to walk with sure steps toward their own ends. This march is not a liberation, but rather the purest and nakedest form of nihilism. The cinema screen immortalizes literature's shattering philosophical bomb by transforming it into a visual feast. This hidden bond between the two Melvilles proves once again that magical power of art that transcends time. That non-hierarchical relationship between human, nature, and machine finds new life on the cold metallic surfaces of the modern city. Silence, here, becomes not just a void, but also the most powerful means of expression. The director traps the audience in their own inner world by using the power of the image where words run out. This is not a story of escape, but on the contrary, an effort to confront that void at the center of existence. Melville's legacy has emerged from the turbulent waves of the ocean and settled into the narrow and dark-side streets of Paris. Every street corner here carries a trace of the author's melancholic search. As the viewer gets lost within this visual labyrinth, they are actually left alone with their own existential questions. This is the greatest gift that art offers to humanity, to meet our own nothingness and accept it. While Jean-Pierre illuminates the author's soul with the light of cinema, he actually shows how deep the darkness is. This depth both frightens the viewer and used to be the cornerstone of our existence. We are travelers who continue to seek our own meaning within this nothingness. And this journey is perhaps an adventure that will never end. The echo of Melville will continue to reach us from beyond time. This echo is the purest and deepest voice of existence, and gives them a strange sense of peace, because in the end, we are all alone in the middle of the ocean or in the crowd of the city. Melville's world holds a mirror up to us by transforming this loneliness into a work of art. The reflection in the mirror is sometimes a whaler, sometimes a hitman, and sometimes it is us. This ontological echo is a part of that great silence which will last for centuries. The director captivates the audience by conducting this silence like a symphony in every frame. In a flawless composition, the place of humanity in the universe is questioned once again. There are no answers again, because Melville never provided any answers. He only asked the questions and left us alone with them. Cinema translates these questions into a visual language, sharpening them even further. Every scene is not the unraveling of an existential knot, but rather its further complication. This chaos is the very essence of that chaotic beauty inherent in art. Jean-Pierre Melville succeeded in transferring this beauty to the screen in its purest form. His cinema is a modern reflection of the storms in a writer's mind. This reflection leaves an indelible mark on the viewer's mind. This journey from Melville to Melville is, in fact, a voyage that a person takes into their own self. The place reached at the end of this journey is once again that vast, endless void. However, this void is no longer frightening. On the contrary, it has become meaningful. Art, instead of filling this void, places it into a meaningful framework. This is what Melville achieved and what Jean-Pierre continued. This is an aesthetic triumph of existence. When everything is over, only that deep and meaningful silence remains. This silence says more than all the words. The existential labyrinth of a human being is, in fact, nothing more than a fiction created by themselves. However, this fiction is more real than real life itself.